We're good?
Yep.
Call the meeting in order. Okay. It's 6:45. I'd like to call this meeting in order. Need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Let's say a pledge of allegiance. Stand up. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Got that on, okay. First step, we have public comment. We have a public comment. There's not any. JD's not here tonight. He wasn't able to make it, so there's no engineer update. We'd go on down to number 6 there. We have several applications for using the courthouse grounds. Cruise in Clarinda, Southwest Iowa Band Jamboree, and the annual lighted Christmas parade. So, motion on that.
I would move that we approve all the applications by the Chamber of Commerce for Cruise in Clarinda in June, Southwest Iowa Band Jamboree in October, and the annual lighted Christmas parade in November.
Okay.
A second.
A second. It's kind of hard to pronounce sometimes. Okay.
Yes.
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 Okay, that's 6 down there. Those are all wonderful things. All right, number 7. We're back what we had last week, resolution 30. Rescinding the current moratorium on CWEC permit applications.
Yeah, and I have not heard back, what I did was I forgot to put Carl on my email when I sent it to Eric to ask just what he thought of it. I haven't heard anything back from him, but maybe next week, if he's down, we can bring that up. But, and then I did add Carl tonight to it, so I didn't hear him. So
I thought we were just gonna ask Carl.
Yeah.
Oh, were we?
No, I don't know.
Sorry.
But just,
Yeah,
I was
don't know why
thinking-
we'd ask. I don't know how we'd ask Eric.
Oh, okay, I thought I said Eric.
No.
yeah, well,
Um,
what we can do, do you want to still ask him?
Yeah, I mean,
Carl, I mean?
I still haven't heard from Carl because I didn't get it to him till today, so I'm sure he hasn't seen it yet, but
Okay.
I would like to just extend that to next week if we possibly could.
Okay, I'm all right with that if you want to talk to him.
Okay.
Wish he was here. We could ask him right now.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then we'll just table that next week, I guess. Wait till we hear from Carl. Number 8 there is the solar ordinance, and other information on that. I saw the email that we got on some funds and things and tax guesses.
Yeah, and I had some questions on that too, but I was gonna kind of
Sort through it.
sort through it a little bit because I was curious to, on the example that they gave, seems like 120,000 in approximate taxes. Is that based, and that's based off the output, but then if it didn't have a solar, it would only generate 19,000 in taxes.
So it appears.
So then, but I was wondering if it's all based off of output, if you have,
Cloudy days,
cold winters, hot temperatures, I don't know, all that could play, weather could play a lot into how much revenue you get off of those. I would kind of like to know the average of how much power they average generate. A wind, solar farm of that magnitude would generate.
I think it would probably go on the wattage, not on.
Yeah, or kilowatts, how much they
I don't think it would change, though. I mean, the other utilities don't change.
Well,
The
if
lines and stuff.
it's based off of how much it produces,
No.
though.
But your lines that you have throughout the county, it's one amount per year. I mean, the state sends you the amount that you're gonna get from those lines. The utilities, all the utilities that run through the county every I don't know when it is, it's January when we get them. And if you go back to some of the resolutions, you're gonna see that utilities are there and how much they're taxed.
For their, maybe they're all the above-ground
So,
lines and all their property they own.
These are underground and above ground both,
I
so.
bet maybe there's two parts to this, the actual physical panels, but this thing I was reading this email says, Iowa Code section, the replacement tax is what they do for this. It's on their annual electrical generation output, it's not 6 cents, a sixth of 1 cent per kilowatt hour is how the solar tax is generated, if I understand it right. So it'd be maybe two parts to that, I don't know. But,
And I do think he'll be here next week, too.
Maybe, but it looks like we're gonna be cramped for
yeah,
time
next
next
week looks
week.
really
It's gonna
busy.
be a
Yeah.
busy, session.
I have a question.
Yes, please. You want to step up to the microphone here, please? State your name.
I'm Shirley Long. If it's cloudy, obviously, you should have some underground batteries that are gonna store that. Does it not? Most of these solar panels have an underground capability. If I'm gonna put it on my house, I have a battery there that's going to absorb it, so when I don't have sun,
Right.
it's going to still produce.
Still produce.
So,
That's a good question to ask. Thank you.
Because they listed in their his email to us as an expected annual output. It's an average, they're guessing. Well, let's see here. I mean, basically, we need to figure out
And
some of the just key numbers, the
I
height.
did reach out to, some of these other county supervisors. I have not heard back from any of them yet, but when I do, I'll pass that along to you.
Okay. And the fee schedule, I really wanna, that is based on like this one here, and Fremont County is based on how much they produce for their permit fee. Well, your thoughts on them?
Somebody's asking if we could explain the replacement tax. Off the,
Not sure I understand that well enough to explain it.
I didn't bring my iPad, or I could pull up the,
says replacement tax is imposed on electric generation, solar is taxed on generation output.
Yeah, at that 0.6 of a cent.
There's an audit process that takes some time for the state to verify. And then the tax revenue on a year-to-year basis will change.
So they're throwing out a guess on what they think
And that
600 acres of land would produce.
it's based off Iowa Code 437A-.6. I'll have to look that up.
So that's kind of how they're figured in their own way.
as I said, the state gives us numbers every year. The audit sends them to the auditor, and the auditor then enters them in the tax base.
Did you want to look at this email, Judy? I've got it printed out.
I have it printed out too.
Okay. I didn't know if
I
you
was
had-
just trying to find, I didn't bring my iPad to pull this up. Let me see if I can do it on my phone.
What output rate?
Every January, there is a resolution
Right, for what they pay.
as far as the lines are concerned. how well this will do. January 3rd.
Are you looking up the code or?
No, I'm trying to look up the minutes.
Oh,
Yeah, I pulled up the
I would
code
show
here
them.
for what they're talking about.
They should be under the January 3rd minutes, I think. I don't see them in there, though. I don't know. Anyway, every year, they are sent to us by the state and then entered into our tax, to each individual tax base. So,
Looks like it's 6.
it's set by the state. They're the ones who determine
Yes, yeah, it's 6/10.
what it is.
okay.
So we have
Time
no
scale.
say-so. It's, and the utility company doesn't have a say-so. It's whatever they provide to the state of Iowa, and then the state sends them out to every county in the state.
Right. Just trying to understand how the taxes work on.
That is how they work for utilities.
Okay.
So we get reimbursed for that? Like they
We get
we
taxes.
taxes?
We get
and then they-
taxes.
Okay.
Okay. Yep, he's, be an estimate based on a 3-year average, he kind of laid that out, so, okay.
Oh,
Things
so-
like I said, making sure people have notice, your heights, your setbacks, I mean, those are what we gotta decide on. We've talked about those.
Yeah, and I'm trying to put all that in writing and typing it up.
What are you trying to put in writing?
Just the ideas that we had, not necessarily the format of this.
So we're trying to
Solar.
rewrite something.
No.
Instead of taking one that's already there.
Well, we
Well, not necessarily, not all of it.
basically,
Not,
just that, we gotta figure out those numbers to insert.
I mean, I don't know, we have to agree on the height, which it didn't sound like that's gonna be a big deal. I'm pretty confident we agree on the depth of the lines, as long as they're inside the
And what is that?
project. 6 feet or whatever it was.
Okay.
Do you agree with that? As long as it.
Yes, I agree,
As long-
6 feet.
As
Not
long
10
as it's,
feet.
right, as long as it's inside the project. Now, if they
Doesn't- well-
start going outside the project walls, then it probably needs to be 10 foot.
We
But,
can't cross the right of way
yeah, I mean, there's some things there, but
or anything else. I don't know. So, setbacks will be waivable.
yep,
There's a question there, so the public is taxed. No, the public is not taxed, the utility company is taxed. Public is not taxed on this at all.
Well, the subsidies would be most of their income for doing these projects comes from federal tax subsidies. So the public pays for it, and then it goes in a big circle. They're funded by subsidies from the federal government.
It's the federal government, it's not,
But-
but the county's
Yeah, we're
tax,
not
the
gonna write a
county,
check.
the county receives tax money from all the utilities that run across the counties.
Right.
Whether it be gas, electric, there's railroads, there's all kinds of utility lines that run underground, over top, whatever. We get information from the state every January. The auditor receives that so that she can put those numbers into the tax file to be done at tax time. So the utility companies get taxed just like a property owner, just like you and I get taxed. So it's not it's not something that we pay back or, and the public, it's not something that the public is taxed. The utility companies are taxed. Does that explain it? Okay, maybe that explains it, hopefully.
Yeah, they pay property tax on those things at the rate set by the state.
The public is,
But-
another question, the public is taxed by the utilities, right, that's normal. You've paid taxes on your utilities forever, or you pay your utilities, so that has nothing to do with the county property taxes.
Okay, well, on like, if we was going through Madison County, which we talked about, you know, look at it as a template, the height with it, I think,
I do not want to look at Madison County as a template.
14 feet. Okay, well, I'd like to look at it for a minute. The height is 14 feet, I think every other county like is 15 feet, that's not a big deal, I think we make it 15 feet with me, just make it the same as all these neighbor counties. The sound, I think we talked about being the same as the sound and the wind, just it's the same as the ordinance, sound to sound. So if they don't produce sound, it won't bother them.
Right.
Doesn't matter, but sound is sound, so. Okay. The setbacks, we decide what's, should be there and make it waivable so everybody can join in if they want. They have,
Now, we could take these same ideas and look at the Mills or the Montgomery or the.
I just have to insert
Pot
them in there.
and insert them. I'm fine with that. We don't
That's
need
what I
all
would
this
rather
other,
do.
we don't need all this other
I
language that
think,
Madison
I
County
think that Madison
has.
County is way too complicated, and
Yeah.
it's just, yeah, it's
And-
overboard.
Okay,
I would rather take Mills County, or, I think that's a good one,
Mills County's a good one.
and go with
Okay,
that. And I think they've considered pretty much everything that needs to be done.
I got Mills County here. Well, they didn't have much for notice, I don't think, did they? I don't remember.
well, we could add notice.
Yeah,
like, if
so we're
You
gonna-
could add notice,
we-
but how
if
much
we-
notice do you need? I
if
mean,
you-
it's,
I mean, it's good
The
to be a
neighbors
good
should
neighborly.
know there could be
Right.
1,000
I
acres of.
understand that, but this one in here is overkill, in the Madison County one.
Well, just-
Seems like they do it over and over and over. I don't know that it,
decommission.
anyway, whatever.
I'm trying to
You're gonna
find,
do what you wanna do, so.
trying to find if they have some, there's noise, isn't there?
If you see,
Well,
if you
how about
see,
if I
if
just-
you see solar projects
Ender.
at a home, and they're sitting right next to the home, I mean, that's the individual's prerogative to do that.
Right,
But if they're that close to a home, they're not disturbing anything. There's no
They're-
sound that's bugging them. There's
they're-
no, no height that's bugging them or
usually on
anything
the
like that.
roofs or.
But they're,
A lot
So,
of
they're
times.
choosing.
I understand a buffer
Yep.
around them if you think they're unsightly or whatever, but I personally don't find them offensive
Okay.
in looking at them. But,
You're making that choice, that's your choice, yeah.
And the other thing
but
he
Jacob,
said,
they're not gonna be, most of them are not gonna be that close to a home. If they're being done on farmland, whatever.
the other thing that he mentioned, William even actually mentioned in here was, having a set limit to how many acres in your county would
And
actually.
I don't think
would actually
I don't think
be
we should do
available.
that. There may be
He's, what
30,
he's suggesting it.
yeah, but there may be 30 people that wanna do it, and there may be 10 people that wanna do it. How do
Right.
how do you discern who you're gonna say yes to and no to?
I also think that setting a limit that does change it for, I don't know about a limit, I think.
Yeah, I don't
you
think
set
there should
what's
be a
right
limit.
and let it be as it is.
Okay.
If it
I
becomes,
limit-
if it
limit is
becomes too
picking and
cumbersome,
choosing.
then you can change it.
The limit is picking and choosing winners. You
Right.
pick and choose winners
Right.
with a limit.
And I don't think we should do
No,
that.
I think just whatever's right, just set the rules out there and let them what we think,
Okay.
and let them go. He's worried about his project, is all he's worried about. He doesn't care about the other people, so it should be the same across the board, doesn't matter who they are.
Well, I can tell you,
So-
if some of the neighbors don't have a problem with it, we got it made out there.
Yeah, the future, the next deal, because
So-
I have had people reach out to me who live in the bottom land, and they might have a house surrounded by 1,000 acres or 500 acres, and they own so many acres, but they don't own the rest of it. And they, having 1,000 acres of solar panels on all sides of your property,
Well, you're not gonna have that many.
well, there's 600 acres in this project alone.
There's 421 acres in this one.
Oh, he says in this thing, email he just sent us, it said he was figuring on a 600 acre.
That was an example.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
He has repeatedly said that this one is 421 acres.
What's that paper?
Yeah, I was pretty sure it's 400.
It's 421 acres that he keeps repeating. This one out here is.
I think this,
So-
on his email, it was an example. of
Yeah.
600.
This is just an
So
example.
420 acres.
Right.
That's a pretty big project. So if you had a house out there and there's 420 acres, which is a big chunk of land, and that those people who were, the future, were concerned about with this ordinance. If
And
there's
the
no one
peop-
out here that cares, it's gonna be fine
The
anyway.
people who came in that night about it have no problem with
Yeah,
it.
so there won't be a
So-
problem. This won't be an issue for them.
So why should we make a problem out of it?
It's for the future. We're writing this ordinance for down the road a year or two. There's lots of ordinances that we have in place that have been there lots of years before they get used. So.
And the other thing is, Mid-American might be a really good partner, but the next company may not be.
Just have to have fair
And mostly we
guidelines.
have Mid-American around here, so I can't imagine anybody
know,
else
but-
coming in. Hi, Shirley.
You also need to have a phase 3 line near your solar panels. If you don't,
They're gonna
they're
build.
not gonna work. You have to put in a phase 3 line.
Yeah, he said that they were building next to the big power lines is where they
Yeah.
would build them, yeah. Yep, that's where they're hunting. I'm trying to find the Mills County sound, what they say.
I think what I'd like to do is take the Mills County one and
Insert stuff into it.
insert some stuff in it. We can talk through it if we
Okay.
like it, if we don't.
I think that sounds like a really good one.
Okay.
Noise, so it's just, theirs just says, which that's number 11, we could just insert the same as what we have on Win there, and the Mills for sound. Okay, we'll go through it and cut it up and see what we can add in there, if they missed something. Okay,
I think they have covered it in a shorter,
Could
easier to
we
understand.
try to have that in 2 weeks?
What are we gonna try to do?
This
Go through it?
kind of go through the Mills County one, probably not next week because it's such a busy schedule.
Right,
Is that fine with everybody?
I'm good with that.
start going through it, or
Just add.
going
add
through
in
and
what's-
adding things that
Yeah.
you want,
Well,
If you're all
or
right.
things
with it,
that,
we're done.
or
You know.
comparing, or whatever.
yeah, it's not
Yeah.
gonna be and then we'll use the Mills County as a template,
I would be happy with that.
okay?
Okay, we'll work on that, see what the differences are. Okay, work on that for the next week or two. If we're good with that, what's number 9, what's board communication? Anything coming up here? Next week, we'll meet in the morning, a
I
pretty
have-
busy meeting.
Yep, I have a E911 and a emergency management meeting next week. I believe on Tuesday, the 30th.
An
Okay,
E911 and what, Todd?
EMA, or emergency management, yeah.
Okay.
And then, me and Judy attended a really good information meeting
Yes.
last, what was that, Monday? Tuesday? No, maybe,
Beats me.
I can't remember what night it was.
Monday night. It was
Monday night, I guess it was, at the
Yeah.
Shenandoah Fire Station, with the.
Very informative.
Yeah, with all the, there was
mayor, council, Fremont County,
Yeah, the EMAs and the
sheriff,
sheriffs and
candidates.
Tom Shipley
Tom
was there.
Shipley was there.
Yeah, so it was a good meeting. It was informational and with carbon solutions stuff, so.
I had seen Tom at lunch on Sunday and mentioned to him that there was gonna be a meeting, and then I checked to see if it was okay that he attend, and they've added a link to that, the pipeline.
Yes, so they're
And
adding
it's gonna
on
go right through his property, which he stated he has no problem with at all, so. But he found it very, very informational too, so.
Okay,
I had a Wabansie meeting Tuesday, financial part of it. Some concerns about where the new HHS regions and how things are gonna be divided up. And that is very concerning, so, and how mental health is gonna be handled. We have some issues right now with some of the, well, with the one that the state that's supposed to be paying them for services has not been paying them for services for months. So that's a concern. But anyway.
okay, unfunded mandates, I do that sometimes. Let's see, the 20, so next week will be a morning meeting. We have a lot going on. Anything else? Well, then we can go to claims. Any claims? I didn't see any.
Oh, I have one thing.
Okay, what's that?
I just want to mention, board agendas. I think that we need to maybe send out a temporary board agenda early on Wednesday morning, and then make sure we get it to solutions by 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon,
Well, we can do the best we can.
instead of waiting until later.
Well, if our meetings aren't till 6, we have quite a bit of time there.
So you're just saying, like, send them the temporary? Oh,
Right, no, they're not there, so,
Yeah.
no, that's why we need to get it to
Kinda-
them earlier in the day, I
Got it.
think. And
I'd
I
also
think,
like to look into with solutions, how we could have some kind of
We cannot.
access to, just to our agendas. To post
No.
it, if we need to post an agenda after 4 o'clock.
this is hosted by there should be no reason to
But
post an
things
agenda
happen.
after 4 o'clock.
It's nice to have a way to do that if things happen.
They're not
so.
a 24/7,
I'm not asking them to do it, I'm saying if we could
No.
post our own. but
they will not give
Your
us
opinion
any
is no. I would
access.
like to talk about this a little bit. So I've always wondered why we're paying them completely for some of these things we have no access to, so.
Because that's why we pay them, they are our software provider,
Right,
and they
but
have
have
been
a
our
s-
software provider for many years, and we would be totally lost without
but,
solutions.
so they
All
don't,
I'm talking about is posting a simple
No,
agenda.
but we don't have that
they
ability.
don't
nor we
allow
do.
us to do
No.
anything on that webpage?
No,
It'd just be interesting to look at, that's all I'm saying.
they
It's
don't, do they?
Be nice to have
No.
Is
that
it?
option.
No, because we can't get onto their servers or do anything like that. Would you want to allow me to get onto Pella's things?
No?
No.
Probably not.
Right,
You could,
yeah, right.
but I'll give you.
No. No, this is government,
Yeah.
it's controlled, I mean, it's safe. It has to be kept safe, bug-free,
Just a
whatever.
thought, if
We
we,
should not even go there or ask for that.
well, if we had our own posting, like we have our own clip, our own bulletin board, you know, something just to think about, just because it's.
So you
can
can put
be-
it out there on Facebook, but that's not gonna be the official publication, so.
Well, no, the media is your official publication.
That's right.
Which, they're easy to send it to at any time, so
That's, okay, so that should do away with your asking about solutions.
I'm just trying to figure out a way that we would have some control over that after a certain time of the day.
I
Might
just
be
think
handy.
we need to be more respectful, and we need to do it earlier in the day like we always used to do.
I guess, so what you're suggesting is sending the temporary to solutions.
No,
No.
sending like she's sending it to us
Okay.
earlier in the day to look at it, and if we
Yeah.
have anything to add, we can, but it doesn't have to wait till 3:30 or 4 to send it to them.
Okay.
I think it should be sent to them at 1 or 2 in the afternoon,
Well, we can
we
shoot for
don't need to change anything after that,
2 o'clock or something, we could shoot for them.
okay?
It's there. Okay, anything else? It is very nice, which I asked for this for years, for the auditor's office to let us see the template, and we could all talk about it for a minute, and that did not happen for years. I so appreciate having the chance to look at it, because we can't talk.
I haven't seen anything
We can't
change.
talk through, well, it's because when you got here, I was doing it, and then now Cindy's done it. I was doing that, trying to let everybody know, hey, do you see anything? I so appreciate that happening. And many times, multiple times, I asked for things to be on the agenda that were not put on there, because it wasn't the interest of the auditor. So I am so happy to have the agenda.
Jacob, don't even go there.
And that's why we're doing this right now. So I appreciate what's going on. So anything else on that? We'll go on to claims. Do we have any claims?
Nope, no claims.
Okay. Minutes here. All right. What did I do with that? There we go. Okay. For the 18th meeting?
I do have one other thing that I wanted to bring up, and I kind of forgot about it. This deal with Andy Audi. I have an issue with, and JD's not here, but I have an issue with these tile lines evidently were covered up for a long time. Not just recently, not just when they started this project. So I have an issue with the county bearing the brunt of the expense for this.
When we went out to look at it, you weren't there out that day, the pipe, that's what we finally got to the bottom of, when we asked him 100 questions. The original bottom of the ditch, where it'd been for a long time, they raised it over a foot, which means they raised where the water can get out, which would cover all these tile lines, so they won't function. That's where we messed up.
But he was saying that they'd been probably covered up for a long
Who
time.
said that?
Andy did at one point.
I think the one,
He said they'd probably been
Maybe.
buried for a long time.
No, I'd like you to ask him that again. I don't think that's what
or he meant that they were in the ground for,
They've
because
been
some
there a
of them
long
had been
time.
Well,
there
he
before
said
he,
they'd been there for 20 years.
before he got there.
When he bought it,
Like 15
they were
years,
there.
yeah, or whatever.
They were already there when he
How long
moved
he
in
lived
20
there.
years ago or whatever.
Yeah, if they'd been buried, his field had been wet in a rainy year, so.
Well, I just have an issue with us having to pay for all of
I
it.
do think maybe we need to look more into who is responsible for raising that a foot. I don't, did we, I mean.
I don't have a
Who
clue.
ultimately made that decision, because that's what did this whole thing. That's why the counties have to spend money. Whoever raised that a foot changed everything. And I don't know
Because they
who,
didn't know the tile lines were there because they were buried.
but they didn't talk to anybody on that side of the road either, when they raised it a foot.
But evidently, when they looked at them, they couldn't see any tile lines. So that means,
They change, when you change, I mean,
no, before they ever started the project, Jacob,
I understand.
they
but
went out there and they looked at it and they didn't see any tile lines.
They didn't see them, there's a lot of things you don't see, and they didn't talk to the guy that owns it. I deal with draining things all the time, and if they'd done that to me, I'd been very upset, because the ditch bottom matters. When you come up from there, you can't get water to come out. It matters a lot, and so whoever made that decision on those plans to raise it, didn't talk to anybody there, that's where we had a problem.
But if they didn't see them, why would they talk to anybody?
Because they're changing the way it's been. You're changing things, you're changing you're right, even if he wanted to lay new tile, he's now got a lot harder path to get the water out, because you raised the ditch. We changed everything.
Yeah, I
And
just
that's
have
what
I
that's the.
just have a problem with the county bearing the brunt of all the
I
expense for
think,
that.
I don't know if the people that drew the plans came up with changing that. I don't know who said it was okay to change that. That's what we gotta figure. Ultimately, they brought the plans in here when they were all done. And JD recommended we went forward with it. But we didn't know that they were raising a foot. We didn't understand that. So I think we could look into that more, because if it happens to be, whose responsibility is that what happened there? But they raised it, that is why it isn't working, because they raised it at least a foot, if not, I think it was more. So, but it is
It still would have been nice to have some communication, I think, with the property owners.
Yeah.
Before I mean, even though we didn't think we were gonna interfere with this property.
And I don't know how much they do that prior to a project either.
Well, and it sounded like when we were out there that they didn't. They didn't talk to him.
I don't know.
Because they didn't think they were gonna hit anything.
Yeah.
And,
I don't know.
or bother anything on his land,
And
so.
there's no record of tile lines that is kept anywhere, so you
I don't
don't
know
know.
if they do.
Because I asked JD.
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
don't,
anybody
So-
does that anywhere. I mean,
No.
yeah, I
Farm
don't know
tiles.
that they do a very good job marking them.
well, there's
Yeah.
not permits, there's not things,
Yeah.
farm tile doesn't have that.
No.
So, but they're, it definitely is not gonna work now, what they did. So, okay, where we at here? Minutes here from the April 18th. Here's what I got, looked here from the April 18th. Here's what I got, looked over them things. Oh, sorry. There goes a couple of them. Just one page there. Oh, you know, I messed up. Didn't look at the part about the minutes. Rewritten minutes. There. Here, I might change that a little bit. I didn't get that quite right. Missed a spot.
Yeah.
The rewritten part, I guess.
Every time.
Every time. There we go.
Consistency.
There. There we go. There you go. I think I looked at it right now. Entertain a motion on that. Motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the amended minutes to meet Iowa Public Information Board guidelines.
I'll second that. We can vote on that when you're ready, Kristen.
Yes.
Yeah,
No.
okay. All right, well then we're done, I think. Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Okay, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.